Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We've moved on from that. Next, we go to J Street, where we've had a lot of good, solid activity in the last year to 18 months. Last changes are resolution 1420-20.
Right, we've been working with Ambition Coffee and Eatery. I think everyone's familiar with Ambition. They've been around for 20 years at the location of the old J Tavern. The building dates back to the 1870s, so it's one of the oldest in downtown, certainly a distinctive looking building. We're working with the owner, Mark Renson, on this is really a bricks and mortar project of fixing up the overall facility. There'll be a facade makeover, a new roof is being put on, some structural work is being done inside. We'll gain a little more access to the second floor of the building, which hasn't been able to do for years. Our part of the project is a $25,000 grant. Total investment is around $75,000. Mark actually submitted an updated budget, which we always ask for, so we're kind of getting ahead of the game. We're very excited about our working with them. And his new budget is up to $88,000. So it's a pretty substantial investment in a small building, but I think it's overdue, and it's great to see him putting money in. As Ray said, you know, there's been a whole series of investments on projects on pedestrian J Street. So we're really thrilled that, you know, it's kind of in line with everything else that's been going on over the course of the year.
Got a motion on this? Sharon, second by Brad. This is a discussion, as the minute, as the program description says, this building is about 1870. We've been keeping a running list. Metroplex has helped restore over 100, important, significant historic buildings. This is certainly a very important building that's been around, a main centerpiece of J Street for many years, a very successful business. We thank Mark for doing the project. We thank Jeannie for interacting with Mark and getting this all set up. The building does need some work, and this is going to really make it pop. I think what's really interesting on the general program project plan is all the different projects going on in J Street right now. You have the former Cohen building on the corner of J and Franklin. Go out there tonight and see it underway. Whistling Kettle, of course, was very important. We fixed the facade at 125J, the facade at 129J, which is that distinctive red building. Some improvements at 173J, the new art gallery at 160J. I mean, this is a momentum business. We've always talked about that, and we're seeing, even in the height of the pandemic, solid investments in this very critical corridor. I know there's a meeting tomorrow, I know, with some of the city staff that talk about further enhancement as part of our DRI plan to add to the lighting and continue to make J Street a great part of downtown Schenectady. So happy to answer any questions. We have a motion in a second, and we'll move this forward.
Out of curiosity, are they closing in 6 to 8 weeks to do it?
Great question.
No, what they're going to do is they'll keep the regular store hours. They're open till 2 p.m., 3 p.m. most days, and then the crews will come in after that and they'll work till about midnight and do the work, and they expect it to get done in a reasonable time frame before the holiday. So, if the weather holds out, I think they'll get it all done this year.
That's, yeah.
When you started this, you prefaced it by saying this represents over 100 historic buildings.
Yeah, I've got a list, that we've been involved with, directly.
Remodeled, how about other?
Yeah, we've restored.
Restored, that's
Really, running list, I can send that around. It's really impressive when you step back and look at it. From Proctor's to the old YMCA to smaller buildings like this is, our record on historic renovations is really very, very strong.
When we add this to all the other things we've done, I keep asking, I need this information to pass on to other people. Sure. When they say, what have we done in Schenectady? We tell them, well, we've had over 200 projects over the past couple of years, more than that. No, we've done over 100 historic buildings that have been remodeled, restored. These are wonderful things to share with people. And I know you have it, and I keep
Yep, no, all the new apartments, all the new,
2,000.
Sure. Very good. So we have a motion and a second. We've had discussions. All those in favor of resolution 1420-20, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Good to see you there, Todd. Thank you. Next up, we go to a project off of Van Rankin Avenue, which is a $12 million potential investment in the city. Pending your approval tonight. We'll ask you to summarize resolution 1421-20.
The resolution is to hold a public hearing for the reserve at Towpath Trail project, which is an apartment complex, 4 buildings, 22 units in each building, so a total of 88 units. They view it as workforce housing, so it doesn't have as many of the amenities maybe that you see in some of the other projects we've had downtown. As Ray said, it's right off of Van Rankin Avenue on the city's north side. The company has all their project approvals in place. The site had quite a history of honestly failures by other developers, so they picked up the 4-acre site. They have their financing in place. They're using the opportunity zone to bring in a plethora of investors into Schenectady to support the project. It's over $12 million budget, and the developers who have worked on a series of projects here in Schenectady are kind of ready to go, and we have a lot of confidence that they'll finally make this a successful site.
Have a motion on this? Karen, seconded by Brad. As Jamie said, we're very appreciative of Chris Matalone and his partner Seth Meltzer. They're currently renovating the former Fresco headquarters on Erie Boulevard, which is a massive undertaking. That project is right on schedule. They redeveloped 202 State. They did some of our earliest residential work on the corner of Union and Barrett, the loss of Union Square, and the townhomes at Union Square. They're very active in doing projects in the warehouse district in Albany. So it's a proven developer. I like the general project plan where Jamie refers to these developers as rescuing this project. This project dates back many years. A couple of condominiums were built by a project developer who failed. We were not involved in any way. Some infrastructure was built. It wasn't completed. Those homeowners have title to their buildings, but not to their driveways and to their lawns. It was a real, situation that was not a good situation. I know Sharon had to deal with that when she was at City Hall. This really cleans up all the title issues out there. It's a $12 million investment. It creates a new tax base where there's just an empty field now. It clears up this mess that's haunted these townhome owners out there for many years. Creates a much better looking site. If you haven't been by what used to be Yates Village lately, you have to go. You have to drive down there tonight if you can. It's amazing what's going on Van Rankin Avenue with the redevelopment of Yates Village. And this is, as Jamie said, right across the street basically. And it's a very important rescue that we're doing here for this part of the north end. And we thank Chris and Seth and encourage your approval of this. It's going to create some jobs, some activity, some nice property tax for the city, the county, the school district. Happy to answer any other questions.
Seems like a difficult meeting without your mouth. Sir,
I think that's the legal name of the entity they set up. I don't know how they're going to tag it when they start marketing it. One of the benefits is that it is right on the bike trail, which is incredibly popular now. And the city has redone a lot of that bike trail as they put the sewer line down the trail to the stockade. So it's really trying to accent the fact that you could get on that bike trail and enjoy some of the amenities downtown and other places. So I think that's one of the taglines, but we'll pass that along the good observation. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, we start with the public hearing here, and we'll ask the board to approve going forward. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Next, we'll go to resolution 1422 regarding our upcoming bond issuance.
I think for everyone on the board, you're pretty familiar with this action, except maybe for Mike, who hasn't been on the board all that long. This was a recommendation from the Finance Committee meeting a week or so ago. This is an action that allows the chairman to direct that at the bond sale, which will take place in December, that it can be done on a negotiated basis, not on a bid basis. It's really in line with both the statutes and our own internal policies on bonds. So it's a formality that we need a formal resolution of the board to have this in place. The bonds, before they go to market, are presented to the state controller's office for their review, and this is one of the things that they will look at to make sure we're in statutory compliance. So we'll have another action on the bonds at next month's meeting, but slow but sure, we're getting through all the approvals that are needed, and we're shooting for a few days before Christmas for the bond issuance. But if there's any questions about this particular action, pardon me? It'll be about $9 million in bond. The precise amount hasn't been fully determined. That's why we're going to hold off till November when we have a better idea of what the condition.
But, you know, from everything we've seen at the county level, city level, around the state, and here in Schenectady, the muni markets have recovered, you know, from earlier distress earlier this year. People are getting good, historically low rates on bonds, right, Jamie? So we're cautiously optimistic that this will be a very, you know, good issuance.
Yeah, our boosted sales tax really helped to feel this next check goes, but
right.
It'll look like it's been a stronger year than what we expected a few months ago.
So did we get a motion on this?
We have not.
We have not. So we need a motion on this?
So moved.
And second by Neil. Any further discussion? Thanks to everyone who's helping us with this. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Finally, technical issues regarding policy compliance, and we'll ask Jamie for an update.
Right, this is with respect to our financial assistance administration policy. That's a mouthful, you know. The governance committee recommended resolution 1423. All we're doing is changing the lead committee of Metroplex from the fiscal audit committee, switching it to the finance committee. So the finance committee will adjudicate any projects that have already been approved by the board, where there are some minor modifications of grants or loans or pilots, will now go to the finance committee for consideration. So we're just changing the name of the committee. We might really want to circulate the whole policy again. It's a minor change, but one that's needed to be done.
This is regarding the government.
It has to do with any project that's already been approved by the board. So typically it's things like they're getting a refinancing and they need a subordination of the Metroplex loan to the bank. It's really kind of pro forma action, so we don't bring it to the board, we bring it to the committee, and the committee's been authorized to do that.
Okay, we need a motion. Thank you, Neil. Second by Sharon. Any discussion? Any discussion from folks? Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Thank you all. There's no one from the public here tonight, so we'll close public comment. We get any public comment submitted by email or electronically at any time? No. And it's open to board comment now on any subject.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, it's in the order. We go,
The mill or the Frog Alley.
Frog Alley.
yeah. I passed by there the other day. It looks like some are open. What's going on there?
It's 100 and how many square feet, Jamie? 100. We talked about this a little bit last week.
Total of 160,000.
160,000 square feet, $40+ million. It is all of 160,000 is rented, I think, except for 2,000 square feet, 100 to 2,000 square feet.
40 million to go.
40 million plus. It's probably the best example of a mixed-use development in the area. It's got the Frog Alley Brewing, it's got the community college, it's got the Janelle Group, a tech company that is growing fast on the top floor. It's got 74 apartments. The last time we had talked to the developer, 66 of those were rented. even though the site is still under construction. It's got a couple of restaurants. It's very popular. It's really a major concert venue, but that of course is not home because of COVID. They have really developed a terrific venue there for shows, and they can actually accommodate. Prior to COVID, they had a major country act there. I was looking at a crowd of, I think, 1,500, 2,000 people. It is the centerpiece of that very strong effort we have underway to redevelop over State Street. So it's going on.
Parking is that
Worked out. Parking is behind the site, all around the streets. It's great to go down there at night and see how busy Lower State Street is. Yes, Brad.
I'd just like to reinforce what you mentioned before. I think you and Jamie really have done a great job navigating through this, being willing to make decisions. To do it, and the fact that the sales tax are coming back, and they said the casino's open again.
Yeah.
And I think obviously I don't know what they're going to say at the meeting, but thank you.
Well, we thank the staff. I mean, we're still not in the woods. There's a lot of concern that we're going to be heading back into tough days with regard to the virus. So we have to stay vigilant. We again cannot thank the staff enough who kept working and agreed to, substantial cuts on some benefits and on salaries. We're very grateful that they stayed with us and hung in there, and we're hoping that if the situation continues to stabilize, we can restore those cuts. People are here working and still doing deals and projects, and we thank the board for their strong support. We'll do without you guys.
It does seem to be getting busier though. There's a lot of intake going on, a lot of questions about investment
Yes.
in downtown, so that's really, really good. Good sign.
We need the movie theater to open, and we need Proctor's to open. We're still hurting because of those. We do have the casino open. Because it's such a large facility, they're limited to 25%, but 25% is 1,000 people there. So they're able to navigate it. So. But we still have a long way to go. So we still need to keep working as hard as ever. So any other comments on the board on anything?
what's our report to the money rules? January.
We do it in February. And all of our folks listening, all of our past reports are on our website. Any other comments from anybody on the phone or on any topic on this beautiful evening in downtown? Seeing none, we'll take a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Check out the net.